is on medical vacation, and to not be in line with the rule of law, if the acting president, who chaired the panel in his capacity as vice president, will now be the one to present the report to himself. I mean, that is not allowed by law. And I think that is why the report will have to wait for the president.
What about some of the ministerial nominees that have been approved by Senate, but they have not been sworn in?
No, I don't think there's any problem with that. I mean, once the acting president has full powers of the president, he can swear in.
But why have they not been sworn in?
I wouldn't know. I don't speak.
I'm just wondering. No, why shouldn't they be sworn in?
I don't think it's a serious problem. I think they should be sworn in any moment from now. I think they should be. I mean, now that the budget that took all the time of the presidency is over, and after that, you had all these problems about, holding meetings with ethnic leaders or regional leaders and religious or traditional rulers. Now, I think that should have been done, having regard to the fact that those states, about 2 states, have to be represented in the government.
Last year, Honorable Abdulmummy Jibrin came forward to say there were terrible, terrible insertions into the 2016 budget. This year, the Minister of Works, Power and Housing is saying, look, there might be some alterations to the budget of his ministry where some projects, specifically the project of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, may have been altered and the funding may have been frustrated. Are you concerned with the level or the manner in which the National Assembly or the executive, as the case may be, is handling the situation and what has become perhaps a face-off between the ministry and the National Assembly?
The face-off is totally uncalled for. And we have been in this game since 1999. And it's about the 4th president. Every year, we had this controversy, totally unnecessary, over the powers of the National Assembly to tinker with the budget or replace the budget entirely, rewrite the budget. And we have suggested to the government to have this matter tested in court. But since 18 years, the time of the nation has been wasted, precious time, over who has the final say on the budget. In 2014, I went to court, and I have seen the judgment being circulated by the National Assembly members. My advice is that they should please read the judgment. Well, of course, they question my local standard and describe me as a meddlesome interloper. The court agreed with me that it is the duty of the president to prepare the budget, while the National Assembly, even though not a rubber stamp, shall make informed input into the budget. But that does not mean, according to the judge, that the budget estimate will be replaced or substituted with another by the National Assembly.
But
can't do that.
Can they produce a totally new project?
It's not possible. No, you see.
What about the constituency project?
No, we have to, totally illegal. We have to understand what budgeting is about. Section 81 of the Constitution provides that the president shall cause to be prepared. What the preparation means is that the Ministry of Budget, the Ministry of Finance, and all the relevant agencies of government will prepare the budget, will collect figures. Assuming you want to build a new secretariat in Abuja, and it's going to cost 200 billion naira. The presidency will have been required to have done some feasibility studies. If the place, you have to test the soil, you have to prepare. You also have to find out what it will cost to put up the building. You need bill of quantities and the rest of them before arriving at the figure of 200 billion naira. Once that is presented to the National Assembly, either of the two houses or both have the right to say, oh, a similar secretariat was built in Accra, Ghana. It shouldn't cost 200 billion naira. It should cost 180 billion naira. But you cannot say it will cost 250 billion, because that means you have prepared the additional 250 billion without any bill of quantity, without any investigation, without going to the market.
So the National Assembly is out of order with their argument that based on their powers of appropriation, they can create, they can alter, they can extend.
Because the appropriation bill, money bill, is the only bill that emanates from the executive. All other bills emanate from the National Assembly. And that is why the executive shall prepare the budget, the National Assembly, to be led to the National Assembly for consideration. But you cannot simply add figures, introduce new elements. Who is going to fund it? Have you found out how we are going to raise the money to fund it? And that is in the province of the executive.
Do you think that the National Assembly has really dealt a blow to the executive? Because we've seen this happen over and over, and it looks so much that they will say that they have closed-door meeting and they are resolving this issue, and at the end of the day...
No. You see, what is required, frankly speaking, the National Assembly resolved this matter in 2007, when the Fiscal Responsibility Act was enacted. The provisions of that law enacted by the National Assembly are to the effect that before the budget is laid to the National Assembly, the Minister of Finance shall collect information, ask for input from all agencies of the government, including the National Assembly. Having taken your input at that stage, you cannot introduce new elements at the level of consideration of the budget. They made that law. I didn't make the law.
So it's illegality for them to even create consistency projects?
No, completely. Completely. Who had, as the Minister of Finance, find out what any of your consistency project will cost?
The National Assembly will argue that they are closer to the people, so they know the needs of the people.
No, it's not about... And again, in the judgment I was talking about, Femi Falana and the National Assembly, that the National Assembly is circulating. The judgment is clear there. That the National Assembly, the question never envisaged that the National Assembly will exercise limitless powers. I'm using the language of the judge. The Honorable Justice Gio Kolawole.
We'll take a moment on the program. Mr. Femi Falana is still with us. And when we return, our focus will be on the agitations for restructuring and the outcry in the different parts of the country. Join us again.